Hello and welcome, dearest. I'm Grandma Mimsy, and continuing on with the plaid videos as requested, I used plate M336, and I used this image here, and this is to show you the differences in the shades of how colors are seen. So, I used these three colors. There's videos on these shades with explanations, and let's see. So, how we perceive color, and I'm going to briefly explain color theory and its importance. You can research that online, and I will be doing a separate series on color theory to help people understand exactly what that means and why it's important, and how that can help you in figuring out and planning your manis and your designs. So this is kind of, let me get a little closer in this so that you can see, hopefully with less glare. Okay, so here are three shades that I used, and the three shades that I used in how those three shades appear and what it is that we're actually seeing. Okay, so this is what you would consider an optical illusion, how your eye is perceiving what's actually there. And in this, especially with plaids and other similar designs, your eye is trying to draw into the attention of what is important to make a determination. What am I seeing? And make sense of it. A confused mind can't decide. So this is what is considered an optical illusion, kind of like a magician performing tricks. Spoiler alert, fast forward if you don't want to know about magic tricks and things that go on with them. I'll give you to a count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, spoiler alert has been given. In case you don't want to destroy the magic, you've been warned to fast forward past this point. Okay, here it is. And if you're still listening, then spoiler alert is done. They're in on the stage. Any magic trick, any kind of thing that is trying to fool you or con you or make you believe something is true that is not true, there's usually a distractive event, which is why they have a pretty lady in sparkly dresses and lights and smoke and all different things kind of going along. It is to distract your brain and confuse you so that you believe the trick. And if your attention is being pulled off because, hey, my lovely assistant over here, and your eye goes to what she's doing, because you were just instructed to go look at the assistant, other things on stage are happening that then prepare the artist or the person doing the magic tricks to be able to have the end result, and you think you saw something. Woo, fun. Okay, so smoke and mirrors aside. This fools your brain. Which one is the base color? Which one is the accent color? Which one was done on top? Which one was done first? And the base color here that was done first is the yellow. The base color here that was done first is the green. Believe it or not, these two were both done in green. These two were both done in, which is the mint, and this one is the bluer shade. These two were done in the blue. So you have the yellow with the blue over the yellow, the green over the yellow. the yellow over the green, the blue over the green, the yellow over the blue, and the green over the blue. And sometimes if you're looking at it, and I'll try and hold really still here, sometimes as you look at it in the view, this one looks like the green is on top when it's really the background color. This one you can tell the green is the background color and the yellow is on top. Same with these ones. And this one, sometimes it's hard to tell between the two shades. So what you're looking at is how these plates are going to create that illusion. And again, so we're going to go back to stamping, and hopefully these ones are now, yeah, they're tacky. They are dry and will hopefully be able to not smudge and mess things up. So I'm going to do a pink. I'll move these off to the side, my demo shades. And like I shared on the other one, pick your design. Now, here's the thing in picking your design. A lot of this is elements that I cannot tell you how to figure out, because I'm showing you a technique, but a lot of what goes into this is, number one, your stamping skill. Are you a beginner? Doing plaid can be a fun way if you're a beginner, but it does have its pros and cons. If you have short nails versus having long nails, those are done differently. If you have a very wide nail bed, so what I'm talking about is that if looking at your finger, if this part and this part are wider or narrow, those go into, and I'll do a separate series for wide nails versus this is for people who have smaller or medium-sized nails. But if you've got big wide nails, you have different difficulties in doing a lot of manis, and I'll do something separate on that. If you have long nails, then you have more decisions to make, because a lot of doing your nail design, and plaids included, but any type of stamping, any image that you want to put on your nails, and even if it's just as simple as doing a French, if you have very short nails, you can do a very cute line and let that be. You can do a line or a circle up at the top and call that a reverse French. You can pretty much do, and I'm going to say this again, I've said it multiple times. There are a lot of people who will see a design that Maniology did, like in the subscription boxes or something in a demo, and they're going, I want to recreate that. And everyone is like, what polish did they use? Tell me exactly everything, because I want to recreate this. Okay, you might like that design, and you might want to use those colors, but you don't have to. You can do whatever you want on your nails that makes you happy. So make you happy. And there is this very intense, very strong, almost need to be perfectly exactly the way that needs to do, and perfectionism is a form of self-sabotage. I'm going to tell you that. If you feel like in your life everything needs to be perfect, you are sabotaging yourself, because you are focusing on the wrong things. You're not focusing on joy. You're focusing on being precise, and then that delayed gratification that will never come, because you'll never be happy with what things are, because it's not perfect. And you hear this a lot when gals are planning their weddings. I just want it to be my perfect day. I don't want anything to go wrong. Why? It's life. Stuff happens. People make mistakes. You will never have a perfect wedding. There will always be something wrong. Even if you have it perfectly planned and everybody lines up, there will still be something you will find that will bug your brain. And yeah, I planned my wedding to be, because my first wedding was planned by mother-in-law. Second wedding was planned by mother-in-law. Third wedding, there was no mom to plan. Well, fourth wedding, well, that one we don't count. But the actual third marriage that we will plan or talk about, the mother-in-law was not available, so she did not have any part in it, and I picked everything the way I wanted it to be so that the people that could show up would be the people I would want to show up, if that makes sense. And y'all know what I'm talking about when it comes to in-laws. Unfortunately, there was someone that came along that I was not thrilled about, and that person overshadowed a lot of things. And it's kind of like, you have to stop and look at the day and not be angry that somebody was a spoiled, rotten brat who couldn't get her way and decided she wanted to destroy my day by being, we're going to be kind and not say the word. But she has a license plate that, she had a license plate that actually professed to be something else. So we'll leave it at that. Anyway, needless to say, not about me. This is about stamping. About what you do, these images are so tiny. As long as you can get the images to be seen clearly in what color schemes make you happy, let the rest go. Don't worry about the imperfections, because handmade things have imperfections. It's not exactly like cookie cutters being clunked out by a machine or an assembly line. Those imperfections become part of the aesthetics, as well as part of I want to say it's in Japanese culture, and I cannot pronounce the process properly, so I'm not going to, but it mainly happens like with items like vases and bowls and things, that if something is broken, they don't just go trash it and buy a new one. They use gold and other precious metals that can be reused in that way, but they'll go through and they put those back together, and those cracks now become part of the finished piece. And there's a term for it that, you can fix things and not have it be so whatever. But in the process, as Maniology says, there's going to be imperfections and things that you might get a little squiggly. You might get, the wrong way. The curvature of your nail doesn't cooperate. Your stamper didn't work the way that it needed to work. And the line is just a little jiggly. Okay, if people are looking at your fingernails that closely that they can see the line is not perfectly lined up, or the image isn't perfectly stamped right on top of the layering to get it to line up exactly, and maybe there's a shadow or something, if they're looking at it too closely, and that optical illusion of things being a little off kilter doesn't make it more interesting, then that person has problems, and they need to not be looking at your nails. You do not need to have that person in your life in close contact, because that's way too critical. And I have done some manis that I absolutely hated, because I was trying to achieve a certain look that I wanted, because in my head, this is the image I wanted to see when I looked down and thought, oh, hey, cute nails. And in the process of that, I hated the way it turned out, because it looked to me just like a splatter. It didn't look like the distinction that I was hoping for. And I couldn't quite get the images to be created in the way I wanted it to do. But I had an appointment I had to go to, and didn't have time to change it. So I had to leave it for the next day. And I cannot tell you, throughout that day, every stop I made for all the appointments, all the little stop in the quickie place, you cannot imagine. Everywhere I went, there were several people that was, oh, your nails are so cute. Oh, that, and I'm like going, oh, thank you. Yeah, I did that. You did that? Oh, yeah, I did that. There's a whole process to it. Wow, that's so cool. Nobody ever said it was ugly. They were all impressed. And I'm sitting here going, yeah, shiny objects. Just because to me it was ugly. But there's that phrase. one man's trash is another man's treasure. We look at things from a completely different perspective, and that is what makes things fabulous, because everybody can have their own goggles and their little glasses on to see the world that they want to see it that way. Just don't, that the problem becomes, in my opinion, when some people feel like their perspective and their opinion is the only one that matters, and they have to make everybody agree. Well, then we'd be like milk. Everything would taste the same, and you're, homogenous. Yeah. We like the interactions of cultures and people, and I want to say dichotomy, because could be wrong, use of the word, but so you don't have to go recreate what the picture shows. You don't have to go recreate what the exact design was and the polish that they used. Don't worry about it. And when it comes to maniology, if you're watching my videos on the lives, if you want to see what maniology did, and you're looking at the design, don't be so perfectionistic that you have to exactly know right now. Answer me. What was the polish we used? They put it in the description. So if you click out of the live comments and go to the little buttons wherever you're watching from, the desktop or the app, however, there's a place you can click on that will drop down the description, and in the description they put what they used. Go there and get your list, and I think sometimes they even include links that will take you to it. But my main point, and this is getting really long, I'm so sorry, with all the personal added, I know you just want to see the stamping. Show me how to do the stamping and get over with everything else. But in my opinion, details matter, and sometimes these details that have nothing to do with the stamping, but the mindset, what you're thinking is going to translate, because there's a very popular guru that says, what's the thing? How you do one thing is how you do everything. It's kind of like how they were able to design a computer program that figured out who wrote what. Because your writing style, the way you think, the mindset, the stuff that you put out there, you leave clues, just like you leave DNA. There's always some remnant that tells other people who you are by the things that you do and the way that you do it. So if your mindset is, I can't do this is so hard, then yeah, you're going to have struggles. But if you kind of go, you know what, I got this. This is zen. This is fun. I'm just creating art. I'm having a good time. I am unleashing my creativity, and you'll find things come to you a lot easier in the stamping. So use what colors you have and create the artwork that makes you happy. So again, it's which ones do I use to do it the right way? Tell me step by step. I want to know those. That's locking you into a box, and your creativity is limited. So people say, think outside the box. I'm going to say again, and I've done this before in many of my videos, there is no box. In life, in anything that you do, yes, there are instructions on how to recreate things, how to do your job, how to do a recipe, but you can use whatever ingredients in your recipe. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, you need an egg, or you need some sort of thing to bind things together. But you know what? Oatmeal will work if you can tolerate that. Oatmeal and liquid will bind just as well as an egg. You'll get different protein and exchanges on things. But generally speaking, the spices that you add and the exchange of those things doesn't really matter. Make the dish the way you want it to taste. If you want to follow the exact recipe because you like that taste, then you're doing that for a reason, not because you have to. It's kind of, I've seen it in a movie. There was a quote where the person was wanting more of opportunities, and they came to the boss, and the boss is like, here's the thing, you don't take risks that will get you noticed because you're too afraid of making a mistake. And for you, you're probably one of those people that puts ketchup in the refrigerator. And the person said yes, and I go, I like ketchup in the refrigerator because I like my ketchup cold. And yes, I do. I agree with this person. I put my ketchup in the refrigerator because I like how ketchup tastes differently when it's cold versus when it's sitting on the table in the restaurant. And the boss basically says, but the reason the other character, you put your ketchup in the refrigerator is because it says so on the bottle and the instructions. Yes, it says it will last longer, and it's best if you put it in the refrigerator because it is ingredients that does have a preservative that can go bad if left outside. But in restaurants, they get used so much that they have to keep refilling things that them being out on the tables won't hurt you. But it's a matter of, are you doing something out of a preference, or are you doing something because you were told you had to? So moving forward, how do you stamp these designs versus these designs? It's the same way, but I can show you in this video a lot easier how to stamp using that same technique, because these designs will have more elements in it, more negative spaces and larger lines than these ones did. So it's pretty much the same thing. But you see what I was talking about in the other video, and I'll come a little closer so you can see. So at this point, this box here and this box here at the two on the corner, those are your guides. So you're going to put the tip of your cuticle right below that, and you're going to put the side of your nail right below that, so that this negative space is going to be the first thing you're stamping. It's going to show where you want things to be, and then it's going to go down to where your nail is. Now, if you don't want the negative space at the top, then you're going to need to move it up to this one, so that this is where this one should be. So this negative space is at your cuticle. This becomes your guide, if that makes sense. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So we'll do the pink on this one. And to be honest, doing these plaids and having it line up and which way is it, your nails are going to grow crooked because they do. And sometimes you can file, and this is what I do. I have issues with the way my nails grow out, and then they curve, and they slope, and they do other things. And I have the timer that just went off, so there's another one that's going to probably go off pretty soon. And we'll say hold, please. Where was I? Scraper. Right in front of me. Hopefully this didn't dry. Okay, and my stamper. Now, you can go this way or this way. Sometimes it does matter. Okay, I did not get a great pickup on this. You can see right there, I was talking too much. So, we'll clean that off and start over. Hold, please.